Sanya.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear.
Okay, wonderful.
You are going to start, ma'am.
Sure.
Just a second, ma'am. We are starting.
A very good morning to everyone. Honorable guests and participants, beloved teachers who made the field. I am Natalie from second year ECE. It is my pleasure and privilege to welcome you all to this lecture, Learning and Empowering Yourself in Rapidly Changing World, organized by Maharashtra Engineering College in association with IEEE Affinity Group, being conducted as a part of Women's Day celebration. Before commencing the inauguration program, I would like to wish Happy Women's Day to all the ladies out there. As it is our tradition to take divine blessings before the start of an event, I would like to sing an invocation song. Mahaganapatim Smarami Mahaganapatim Manasa Smarami Mahaganapatim Manasa Smarami Vasistapama Deva Divandita Mahaganapatim Mahadeva Sutam Guru Guhanutam Mahadeva Sutam Guru Guhanutam Marakuti Prakasam Santam Marakuti Prakasam Santam Mahakavyanataka Priyam Mahakavyanataka Priyam Musikavahana Modaka Priyam Mahakavyanataka Priyam Musikavahana Modaka Priyam Mahaganapatim Manasa Smarami Vasisthavama Devadivandita Mahaganapatim. I will request our respected principal sir, Dr. D. Hanumantarao Garu, to address the gatherings.
Good morning, madam.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. So, to all my fellow faculty and students, a very happy International Women's Day. So, madam, welcome to Maharashtra Engineering College. Thanks for accepting our invitation to deliver a lecture on learning and empowering yourself in a rapidly changing world. In fact, the theme for 2021 International Women's Day is choose to challenge. Just now morning I'm just browsing it. What is decided by the, I think, UN. And for the benefit of the all my young students, so this Women's Day is celebrating since from 1911. So more than 100-year-old tradition.
Yes.
So in our college also, almost all since its inception from 2011, we are organizing some of the other activities. Since of the restrictions about the social distancing, so this lecture is arranged online. Hopefully, all the participants who are online through Google Meet as well as through YouTube will benefit the today's proceedings. And afternoon also, there are some events which we are conducting in the college as a part of NSS activity, madam.
Very nice.
Elocution competition and all.
Wonderful.
So, despite actually the government has given a special casual leave today in the 11th hour, but we are working. So thanks for the invitation, madam. And once again, I wish all the faculty who made it possible through IEEE Women in Engineering Affinity Group of Maharashtra. That is also, I think, this is the 4th year IEEE WIE wing is organizing exclusively for women students as well as faculty. Earlier also they organized a lot of such programs. So I hope more and more such useful activities are going to be organized by this IEEE meeting. So once again, my best wishes and thanks, madam, for accepting. Hope everybody will get benefited at the end of the today's session. Thank you, madam.
Thank you
Namaste.
very much, Dr. Hanumantra Garu. I appreciate your warm welcome and the good wishes for the Women's Day. And I heartily reciprocate to all
Thank
you
you.
wonderful women. Except I can't see your beautiful faces. So can we see some faces here?
You can unmute your, open your videos, I think.
Yep.
Don't switch off your
Request everyone to open your cameras.
Some more.
Some are on the YouTube, I understand.
Yeah, yes, madam.
Sure. That's wonderful.
Thank
Lovely
you so much, sir.
Lovely to see all
Thank you,
the
madam. Thank you.
nice faces. So, very good morning and wish you all a wonderful Women's Day. In reality, every day is a Women's Day, right? So,
Right, exactly. Thank you,
we
madam.
celebrate every day. Thank you.
I now request our beloved head. I now request our respected Vice Principal, sir, Dr. M. Venugopal Rao Garu, to address the gatherings.
Good morning, madam. This is Professor Venugopal speaking. It's a day for recognizing women's achievements, recognizing their challenges they are facing, and focusing greater attention on women's rights and gender equality. We are happy that you are here to enlighten our faculty members regarding Women's Day and speaking about great things about women and their gender equality and then achievements and then their political status, social status, and then what are the things they can do to reach a higher level status to be on par with everyone in the society. I request you to enlighten our faculty members in this regard. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Venugopal Rao Garu. Appreciate again the warm welcome and the good words.
Thank you so much, sir. I now request our beloved head of the department, Dr. M. Srinivas Rao Garu, to say a few words about the department and IEEE activities. Sir has some problem, so please wait for 5 minutes.
No, you can start. I think madam can start lecture.
Okay, sir.
If Srinivas sir join at the end of the session, if possible,
Okay, sir.
because everyone is waiting on the.
Okay, sir. I feel honored and privileged to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Sandhya Kode, Director of Enhance Edu, Hyderabad, Director for Advancement Vignan Jyoti Educational Institutions, Director of Center for Educational Technology and Learning Science of IIIT Hyderabad. She is a business-oriented technology and change leader with diverse industry and functional experience ranging from VLSI, semiconductors, wireless technology, leadership development, team building, human values, empowerment, organizational development, and educational transformation. The geographic scope of her ranges from USA to India at senior management levels. Her present mission is to empower individuals and communities to enhance education and life. She has a PhD in computer science from University of Eastern Finland. She has an MS in electrical and computer engineering from University of Iowa and a BTech in EC from JNTU, Hyderabad. A gold medalist in 1981 graduating batch JNTU. She has over 30 years of experience in industry and academia in US and India. She gave more than 100 workshops and training programs and also talks at IIIT Hyderabad. She believes in solutions today with a vision for tomorrow. Welcome, ma'am. We are very glad to have you here to educate us. Now I request ma'am to start the keynote address. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Venkatragavi, for that beautiful and warm welcome. Nice words. It's always hard when you don't see faces, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to ask if some of you can turn your videos on, right? So that I can at least see a few faces. So I know I'm speaking to real people, though I know you're there. Right. Yeah. The Mathusri Engineering College is not new to me, and I was fortunate to have also known and met with the founder, M.B. Subragaru, and basically his son was my classmate and good friend in college and continues as good friends. So I told him that I'm being called to give a talk, and he was very happy to know this. So I'm very happy to connect with you all guys, because your college was founded on the year that we graduated from college. So it's, you know, when you hear of a lot of the issues currently, what are you guys feeling? Are you guys feeling that so for some reason you are having a lot of the pandemic is causing the situation where you guys don't know what's happening, whether you're going to graduate in a good way, are you going to get jobs, you know, are you having these kind of questions and feelings amongst you? So there's a chat window, and what do you think? Or you're thinking, oh, no problem, it's all cool, there are good opportunities. What are you thinking? I want to hear. So you can put a message in the chat in the Google Meet, and if you're putting a chat in the YouTube, Ms. Arna Kokula, she will convey to me whatever is the points. So we're all good. So feel free to inundate the chat. That way I know that you're here. I'm not talking to some blank wall. And thank you, Sandhya, for turning on your video and being there.
Thank you. Ma'am, I guess most of our students are quite optimistic about the future, because it's something that's going on worldwide, and if something has to be done, would be really done in a very positive way. There should be something very positive from every corner of the world, to my knowledge.
That's very good to hear, Sandhya. And I'd like to hear from a few students. So this is me. The way I talk is through interaction. And if you guys don't interact, then we get stuck, right? So get your mute buttons off and speak if you feel like speaking. If you want to put chat messages, do so, but participate. Can you do that? So are we having primarily teachers, or we have teachers and students, or what is it that, who's the audience today?
Students as well as faculty, ma'am. Both.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, let's start just for fun with, I've got a pot which is full of holes. How much water do I pour in it in order to fill it? So pot is full of holes. How much water do I pour in it to fill it? So feel free to come up with the answers. All answers are good answers. Did you understand the question?
We can't fill it.
You can't fill it. Who said that?
My name is Sindhu, ma'am.
Sindhu? Thank you. So Sai Stravani says there'll be no water left in the pot. Thank you. But I want to fill it. So what do we do? So Vishal Chandra says we can cover the holes. Okay. Good. Any others coming up with answers? Come on, there's so many of you. Everybody must have some idea of what you're going to do with the pot, right? Okay. What do you think? Do you like the idea of Vishal Chandra's that we cover the holes? And so now the pot can hold water? That a good solution? How many of you agree with it? If you agree with it, then you say you agree with it. But I need to see some activity. No activity, no talk. Sorry.
Replace the pot.
Replace the pot. Who said that? So identify yourself when you speak. Who said replace the pot?
It's Dr. Kishore here. I said that.
Okay, Dr. Kishore. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any responses in the YouTube? Aruna?
No, ma'am. Till now, no.
Are there anybody listening to YouTube?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, encourage them to respond. Are you guys able to hear me out in YouTube? If yes, just type yes. If all of you who are present here are able to hear me and understand me, just type yes into the chat window, whatever chat window that's open for you. So I know that you're at least here, right? Can you do that? Thank you, Sai Stravani. So I'm looking at some names here. There's Sindhu, there's Srinivas Nukala, there's Sureka, there's Karnakar, there's Surekha. Are you guys here? So this is what's needed in the industry, you know. You need to be able to communicate. You need to be able to convey whatever it is that you're doing. It's not just about absorbing something and reproducing it or any of the issues thereof, right? So, need to see some action. All right, how about you turn on your videos and then we just get up and stand up. All of us just stand up and touch our toes. How about we do that? Can we do that? I'm just going to do that myself. So how many of you could touch your toes? Just type yes. And how many of you could not touch the toes? Type no. Awesome. So Samyukta says yes. Somlata Kumari Somlata says yes. Venkatagvi says yes. Vishal says yes. Sureka says yes. Awesome. Bhavani says yes. Awesome. Pratibha says yes. Samyu then says, I don't know why, but I couldn't. Well, I can tell you why. You know, sometimes we get too used to sitting in front of the laptop or the computer, and then especially if we're not getting too used to moving around, which we were before, or even climbing stairs or not, then our flexibility we start to lose. So it's very important to start with the holistic approach of being able to really honor the body. And I can speak with experience because I was there when we had the first computers, put it together from parts, a desktop computer, and then spent a lot of time on it, ended up having issues with my wrists, ended up having issues with my neck, ended up having issues with the lower back. So it's really important. Now we know all these issues exist. So we need to be taking care in a preventive way and doing it. How many of you feel that if your laptop has a virus, you're going to just sit around, do nothing? How many of you are going to immediately take it to get it fixed? Or take help and fix it yourself? How many are going to wait? Anyone that says wait, just type wait. Anyone says fix it, just type fix it. Good morning, Srinivas Nukalgaru. Very nice to welcome you. Fix it, fix it. Nobody's waiting. So Vishantra Chauhan says fix it. Somnata says fix it. Sai Verma says fix it. I want to hear who's waiting. Fix it. You're not waiting at all. I will try to fix it by myself. Good. Very good. You see what's happening over here? We believe that this is our lifeline to the world, and if there's any issue, we can't wait. So we have to fix it. Now as the other question, there's some pain over here, the neck, or some little pain in the wrist, but you've been told that, you have to do this work and it has to complete it today and so forth, this whole week, you have to do this project. Are you going to continue to work, or are you going to go to figure out what's happening with you? Who's going to go to the doctor or try to figure it out, or just continue working? So type continue working or take care. Probably continue to work, says Venkateshwaran. Others, what do you guys think? What are you going to do? Continue to work? Take care. Very good, Vishal. So how many of you further are going to continue to work? And you know what the problem is with that? If the laptop doesn't work or dies, what's the worst that can happen? You will do something and somehow manage to get another one, right? God has given us only one instrument here. And if we are not taking good care of it, guess what? We're done for, right? So a stitch in time is really important. So I remember says, I'll figure it out and then continue to work. Awesome. So this is really all about what should be our priorities, because we are students. It's not just our responsibility to work and study, but it's our responsibility to take a holistic view of the whole situation, right? So good morning, Srinivas Nukalgaru. Would you like to say something? 2 words.
Good morning. Sorry for the late submission and late joining due to some emergency work with OU.
No issues.
I am happy to inform you that I am the founder chairman of WIE Hyderabad section since 2008 onwards.
Wonderful.
So recently we organized decennial celebrations last year. During that phase, the committee has decided to organize a Lalita Memorial flagship event under WIE by inviting eminent speakers, especially from women side, and to motivate and to empower in all aspects and to encourage poor girl students by visiting schools, colleges, and Padmasai madam is my student.
Wonderful.
And Sharif also, my colleague from VNR, VJIT, and so many others also. We had a lot of association, not only with VNR, VJIT, but WIE, being a founder chairman, we used to organize more of events. This year, we proposed international conference under WIE ages 10+1 year. This is we are entering, and I am very happy to be with you, ma'am. Please educate us to proceed further. We need your valuable inputs. At the end, once again, I will educate you about our college and department and roadmap future, what we are having in our mind, and our Aruna madam and Kirti and others eagerly waiting for those ideas to be implemented, exclusively meant for women. So I am the founder chairman, and later on Madhumita Chakravarti and so on. Next Padma Sai, and 6 members already taken over the charge. Now Padma Sai madam is running this show. We are highly thankful to you, ma'am. Definitely we will support WIE, and this year we are organizing international conference at Hyderabad.
Wonderful.
to,
That's really
to promote technicality as well as excellence, as well as to guide them in a proper way in terms of scholarships and higher studies through IEEE. Thank you, madam, for giving me this opportunity. We are with you, and thank you for your valuable inputs. We are highly motivated. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Srinivas Nokal Garu, and
Thank
welcome
you.
again. And it's wonderful that you are the founder chair of Y. It's really an important organization to encourage and motivate women in engineering, and we continue to need that for women, not just to join in the industry or do startups, but to rise in various ways and into the leadership as well.
Yes, madam. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please continue. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So let me try to do something over here. Let's see. Okay, welcome to learning and empowering yourself in a rapidly changing world. And we just had some little fun here, and we saw that the solution, so people were saying the water cannot be filled in a pot full of holes, and the solution was fix the pot. Another one was get a new one, replace the pot. Sometimes have we as students thought about how are we in our classroom, right? Are we a pot that's full of holes and the teacher is coming and pouring in all this knowledge, which is this water, and it's all draining out and we don't have anything left at the end of it? Or are we fixing our holes and being ready to receive so that we can retain and have this knowledge? So ask ourselves the question, are we a pot full of holes, or have we fixed our pot? Are we ready for that? Yes or no? Okay, now I need verbal assistance because I'm not able to see the chat windows. So Aruna or Venkatragavi, somebody can look at the chat and tell me, are the people ready to listen, or is their own pot full of holes? Can I continue, or because I don't believe in pouring water into a pot full of holes. So we need either a fixed pot.
Yes, ma'am, you can continue.
Now, what are the people saying? That's what I want to know. I want them to say continue.
Everyone are ready to listen, ma'am.
Ready? Are they saying they're ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. We'll look at how the world has been very disruptive and rapidly changing. I will share a few glimpses of my own personal journey, and we will go over the process of knowledge using learning and knowledge building, which is empowerment, and talk about the Code model and how one can develop a learning mindset and critical thinking skills and achieve actually learning and life alignment. You know, we don't talk of work-life balance, but I talk of alignment. And here we're going to talk about learning and life alignment, right? So which field is not disruptive? I mean, take music, for instance. When I was growing up, there was albums and one company would be ready to produce the music. Now, how is music distributed? And how anyone can make a single, right? And put it out there. You don't need to make an album. You can just make a single and put it out there. And you are fully able to get to number one. And that is something that is completely happening right now. What about movies? There used to be huge studios, organizations that would make, and then there's the Hollywood and the Tollywood and the Bollywood and all of these that would make movies. Now, with things like Netflix, there are movies galore and they're taking over, right? Because they're producing their own movies. Do you see how much disruption is happening in every single field? What about medicine? It's completely revolutionizing how we actually live and work in terms of just when you think about the aspect, right? Like the vaccines that have come out right now, Moderna and Pfizer. It's a huge step because these platforms are now allowing, or they're able to go inside your body and produce a protein. Now, with that kind of technology and platform, we can do other things, right? We can grow different parts. Now, we're not all there yet, but the path is really clear. So, mRNA, that whole platform and technology. What about things like robotic surgery? I mean, a surgeon could be sitting right here in Hyderabad and operating somewhere in the US with robotic surgery. Have you thought about things of that nature? And all the things that I'm touching is just, very, very surface. There's a whole new world in transportation, driverless cars, and that just doesn't imply anything about the transportation. It implies also about how other industries get affected, like the airlines, right? If you are going to be very comfortable and not have to worry about traffic or driving, you can relax and go in your own vehicle from place A to place B and not worry about, if it's drivable, not worry about even taking a plane, right? Why would you want to do that? So these are the kinds of things that are happening. And all kinds of disruption. I mean, the kinds of things that were there, which existed for 100 years, travel agencies, they don't exist anymore, right? Thomas Cook years ago declared bankruptcy in UK. Now, how will all of this work? Because now anybody can go and they can book online. They can book their own tickets. So who's going to a travel agency anymore, right? Kodak. Where are those Kodak moments? Everybody has a camera in their smartphone or even their regular phone and are able to take pictures. Xerox. I mean, this became synonymous with copying, right? And such a company also became irrelevant because now you take pictures and then you send it through WhatsApp or whatever. What about Blockbuster? Does anyone know or remember what Blockbuster is? We used to rent videotapes. And at one time, it had the ability to buy this company, Netflix, and said, nah. And now streaming has taken over. The list is really endless and could go on. And the companies we just did not even imagine that would exist, Amazon, Google, YouTube, they're like taken over, right? And the companies that are making hardware, you know, even that is all, people don't have servers anymore. Now everything is on the cloud. So there's a whole transformation happening. Disruption is everywhere. And it's also creating new market leaders like Uber and Airbnb, ATM. Can anyone remember the last time they're carrying cash to pay? You just do one click and you're purchasing stuff, right? So this is really the age that you are in. And we have
Hello, ma'am. Your voice is not audible, ma'am.
voice is not audible.
Now it's okay, ma'am.
Okay. Able to hear? Are you able to hear?
Now it's okay, ma'am.
Okay.
It's
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Now it is okay.
Okay, awesome. All right. So, you may look at all these things and say, oh, wow, you know, maybe she had it easy.
Hello, madam. Your voice is not audible, ma'am. Sandhya, ma'am. Hello, hello, Just wait for 2 minutes. Like speaker is having some issues with the network. She's again rejoining.
Hello, I'm back. Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Wonderful. Okay, let's see. Where were we? Okay. So I was trying to just share a few glimpses of my personal journey. Are you able to hear me, dears? Yes? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
You're able to hear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, wonderful. So I've had the opportunity of doing wonderful things, being able to work in the US and here, work in various capacities in as a VLSI EDA engineer, and also back here doing startups and so on, and also setting up the Motorola Software Center in Hyderabad. But it all began with pretty humble beginnings, right? And we, it was great growing up in school. I was motivated by my father to get, you know, a good rank, and he then promised me a transistor radio, and that was great for me in fourth grade. But and then in fifth grade, I said, if I come first, what will you get me? And he said, I'll get you a bicycle. And so that was great. And in the seventh, I said, what would you get me if I come first? He just pretended like he didn't know what I was talking about. And he said, well, that's what you do. So there's no more incentive for getting good grades or learning what it is that we have to learn, because that's what is the expectation. So the incentives were done for. I enjoyed the transistor radio. Well, the bicycle was not so great because first time I took it out, and then I went directly into the Maidan and then bumped into electric pole. So that was the end of that story. I mean, I continued bicycling, but it hasn't been the greatest for me. But the continue to challenge myself to do more was always there. And another thing that was there growing up was, I would say, I have an exam tomorrow, I have to study. And my dad used to say, no, if you haven't studied till now, there's nothing much you can read up now. So might as well just go to bed. Otherwise, you'll fall asleep in your exam. So that stayed with me throughout. And I think those were like some good muscles that I worked on building. Because and in 10th grade, it was all going good. I was learning dance, which I loved. And then I was, participating in various things like the UN mock meet and so on. And then all of a sudden, my father passed away. And my mother, here she was stuck, she had 3 children, me, the eldest, 14 years old. my younger brothers, 10 and 5, and she said to herself, I have to live for you guys, and I have to do what I have to do. And so on this day, I thank you for all what you have done. Happy Women's Day to all the mothers who have sacrificed and struggled to bring us here. So she's in Chennai, and she's doing good with all. I mean, she's the warrior that inspires me. And because after 2 uh, leg fractures, she said, what can be my goal in life, and what can I do? And then she participated in seniors sports competitions. So she prepared for doing a javelin and shot put and won many, many medals. So it's never too late to start anything. It's never too late to begin to learn. And that is something that stayed with me. And so that was the time in 10th that my father passed away. And my mother, she took me to this intermediate college and said, yes, my daughter doesn't have composite math, but you give her a seat in MPC. She will somehow make it. So that was my start. And it was a struggle. And, but she said to the principal, my daughter will not let you down. She will do it. And so I worked hard. And what I did was started solving problems, started really solving problems. It was a struggle in the beginning for the first few months, but I would solve every single problem in the book, and then I got more books, and then I did further solving problems. That seemed to make it much easier. And that's what I learned later on, that was learning by example and learning by doing. And that was the beginning. And I did top the intermediate, and then later on in my college too, I could top that, get the gold medals. But what was amazing is that it's not just about getting good grades. It's about really learning the subject and how to learn the subject, right? And I was there. Take the example of my first job at National Semi as an EDA engineer. And my boss told me, you go, you develop this piece of code and then you give it to the customers. They were internal customers, the design engineers and the test engineers. So I did that. And they looked at that and said, no, this is not what we want at all. I said, okay, what do you need? He says, no, we can't explain it to you. You guys know nothing. So I said, can I at least sit in your meeting and understand what's going on? And they said, okay. And I sat through 2 hours of observing what they were doing and everything. And I realized that, okay, this is how I can help solve the problem, and created a format where I could put opcodes for whatever that they were interpreting, streams of zeros and ones, and then wrote some code in the shortest time possible to actually give them what they were looking for, what they were trying to do manually. They looked at that and they were very, very happy. They said, for the first time, somebody is actually trying to understand us. Then I realized that this is where the starting of my professional career really began, because I understood that it's not about reading something and reproducing or trying to do, make a QED, this equation equal to that, or whatever it might be, but being able to build things, being able to analyze things, being able to evaluate and apply the knowledge that I had learned in order to do things. So this is the big difference. And there was no looking back after that. And I continued on, to Apollo, which were doing at that time workstations. And now there are no workstations anymore. So it's very interesting to note that some of these companies are part of that huge disruption that has happened, but even more disruptions happening today, right? And in Cyrix, it was really interesting because we were developing the 486 SLC, which is the microprocessor, and we were competing against Intel. We used to go around wearing t-shirts saying, "So sue us." And I was a design automation manager. And here, what needed to happen was that we needed to bring out the chip, first working silicon, and without race conditions, and also at the highest speed possible. And you all know about high speeds and what should be the things that we need to do. And I almost didn't go to Cyrix because after 10 years of living in the US, we moved back to India, or we wanted to move back to India because we wanted our children to grow up with cousins and grandparents so that they could have the bonds. And but Kevin McDonough, the vice president of engineering for Cyrix, he was very persuasive. He said, "Sandhya, you cannot go back to India without working for a startup." And I promised him 1 year. He said, "That's good enough. We'll bring out the first working silicon and then you can go." And so I went, and I was very glad because it was a great experience, because I learned what it means to work in a startup. We started at 8 in the morning, went on till 5 o'clock in the evening, and then a hard stop. 5 to 6:30 was time where we would exercise. Somebody would run, some others would, go to the gym. And I got to go with my son, who was 5 years old, and my mom to the Y to do water aerobics. And that was great, very refreshing. And then I would have a shower and then come back and then continue working till about midnight, and then deliver a piece of code, and then we identify where the design was running a bit slow. So that would continuously help the design engineers. They would fix some paths, and then we would help create another piece of code that would help catch other things. So this would be a continuing process, but we could keep it up because of the rigor. And that held me in good stead throughout life, because I knew what it meant to work in a startup. Because when we came back to India, there was no company in Hyderabad to hire me. There were companies in Bangalore and Delhi. And for you, it'll seem strange because now there are millions of, lots and lots of hundreds and thousands of companies here. So what do you do so that's when I did my startup, right? And it was great fun because those were the 90s. I did a startup with doing VLSI software. And we also brought in the VLSI Design 97 conference as organizing committee chair. I brought it in here to Hyderabad first time. And you recognize this gentleman over here, Kamran Eshraghian, the guy who wrote the VLSI book. This is Chuck Chakradhar, who has been running the VLSI Design Conference forever. And of course, Chandrababu Naidu, he inaugurated the conference. And it was a great success with 700 participants, both from US and, actually across the world. We also had Tom Williams come in as a keynote and so on. And I had the good opportunity to, be part of Hyderabad making it happen phase. Then, of course, I got the opportunity to head Motorola Software Center, start Motorola Software Center in Hyderabad. from zero and grew it to 150 people. So here's some pictures of, some strategy workshops that we had, the leadership team at Goa and Ooty. That was fun. And I also had an opportunity to start the Motorola School of Telecommunication at IIIT. So you can see that then IIIT director and then various heads of Motorola. And they then talked about right knowledge right now, and I continued to say we need to have always the right knowledge right now in order to be able to do things. Uh, Here was the signing ceremony of the Motorola School with the IIIT. So I was part of IIIT since the very inception and have been in touch. But later on, as I went back to the US to do other things when we wanted our children to go to high school and college. And then after they went to college, I came back here and then did more other things. I just want to share here a picture of my mom and me. And then here's me in Finland doing working on my PhD, which I actually did. The last 12 to 13 years have been in academia in IIIT, where I started this lab called Enhanced EDU, because I saw that people were complaining that engineering graduates were graduating, but they were not employable. So how do you make them employable? So we took the hard route, which is training teachers. So I reached out to, more than 1,000 teachers, and we had them from different colleges. In several batches, they had come, and we reached out to more than 70 colleges in this space, and that was an EDU. And having done all of those teacher trainings was not just in lecture mode. Okay, so I'll share a little bit later on what that process was like. But really what was happening is that the professional life was taking over, especially during startup days. When my daughter told me very excitedly one day, she waited till I came home at 11 at night and said, Mama, you know what? My friend, she has her mom working part-time. So maybe you can work part-time and come home by 6 o'clock. Thank God she didn't know what a part-time really meant. So I actually said, made a little play library room in my startup for children. So they would come home after school, they would work there. So I'd spend time with them and do that. So this is what we get to do as women, right? And as men too these days, because we all have these hats that we need to wear. And I am very blessed because I have the full family support for doing all of the things in my life. So we need to learn, to be able to speak up at the right time, strengthen the core, being able to do yoga, meditation, what have you, and manage whatever different responsibilities that we have. And that's the way it goes. Now, how was it that I could get
Hello. Good morning, ma'am. గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ మేడం డిస్కనెక్ట్ అయింది యాక్చువల్గా, అందుకనే నేను మేడం నేను మాట్లాడిస్తాను. మేడం రెస్పాండ్ అవుతుంది ఆన్ చేసి ఉంటారు అంతే. హలో పద్మసాయి మ్యామ్.
Hello, I'm back. Where did I get cut off? Hello, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, good. So, did you just lose me or?
హలో మ్యామ్, audible ma'am.
Okay, okay. So how long back did I get cut off?
It's 3 to 4 minutes.
3 to 4 minutes. Okay. So what was the
Like
last thing I was here you heard me say? Just give me the context where you guys are, because I was busy talking. So did you hear about taking the culture of taking ownership and teaming for excellence?
yes ma'am.
Okay. So what I was saying was that when starting Motorola Software Center, one of the reasons I could bring it up really in record time to CMM level 5 was because of that whole aspect of using the culture of teaming for excellence. Everybody worked together towards the one goal. That was what it was. And they took ownership of what they needed to do, right? And that means they took 100% responsibility for the task and did it with passion, joy, and energy, right? Now, taking ownership needs courage, confidence, and initiative. And you can have a fulfilling career in life. You need to have different educational goals. What needs to happen here is you need to have like the learning culture and attitude. What does that really mean for us? You know, there's a lot of self-learning that needs to take place, right? You can always take the support and mentoring from all resources, the teachers, peers. Now there are teachers everywhere that you can reach out to. You can decide, I'm going to learn from a Stanford teacher today and then go and do it. You have that kind of flexibility. So you can leverage technology, the internet, MOOCs, and you can also get personalized learning because there are these tools available for helping us do that. So we're talking about teaming for excellence, taking ownership, and developing a learning culture and attitude, right? And I'll just share the Nancy Liu journey because it tells us what is actually the thing that we did, right? So I already told you about this part. So we developed content in an online fashion. Way back in 2008, we had this, trained the faculty members in the colleges on the content. So they did all the tasks. So in every 2-hour modules, they would just do the task, upload these results, and then continue on. And they did that. So these teachers stayed with us for 4 to 8 weeks, full time, doing this. So they worked on Java, they worked on data structures in project-oriented fashion, and getting the certificate in IT training. Then they went back to the colleges and implemented it for their own students. So more than 6,000 students got trained in this way and became, very employable. And so this was all learning by doing, right? And when they did this, they said their problem-solving skills increased, their confidence increased, ability to learn on my own increased, and adapting to new technologies. And what about students? They said problem-solving skills and confidence is shot through the roof. And also the grades and presentation skills improved. Now, this is very interesting. So they did computational thinking, Linux, IT workshop, Java data structures, and assessment training. And what did they get? They got an L board. What is an L board? You may ask. After spending 4 weeks and 8 weeks, this is what we get. We get an L board. You know what L board is, right? When you learn driving, you go around and then you have an L. After you're able to drive for some time, then you get a real license. So that's exactly what this was. So for 6 months, they worked on training students, made the students successful, then they got the full certificate. And they really cherished the L board. And there was a night and day difference between the teachers who came in for the training and the teachers who left the training. And the same for the students. The students who came in for the training, their communication skills improved, their process skills improved, their ability to work with people improved, all of this. So what does this mean? This lesson means to us that what we did at Enhanced EDU using problem-based learning, these are some examples of screens that we had on our online programs, and we have great testimonials from various secretaries and heads in terms of how this was helpful in students pursuing professional courses. So this was our learning, that if they're able to improve in technical skills, adapt to new technologies and all of that, and they're able to go through with the higher order thinking skills, they're able to apply, analyze, and evaluate. That's what the industry needs. That's what I already shared in my first job. That's what they were looking for, right? They were wanting me to build things. They were wanting me to analyze, apply, and the same is true for every single job, whether it was a developer or a leader. That's what's needed, higher order thinking skills. So what are we learning besides these cognitive skills? Learnability, that's what it is. Hard work, discipline, life skills, professional skills. This is what we need to have in our portfolio. And when we have that, we can tackle anything that comes. And that's the key. Because no matter what you're studying today, in these 4 years or in these next 2 years, there's no guarantee that it's going to be sitting around beyond a year or two even, right? We saw how much disruption there is in the world. So you need to be able, and people should want to come to your college, right? Because there's so many choices. So how is the college going to help you? How are we going to create the new classrooms when we build new infrastructure? Are we going to create the same fixed furniture type of things? Or are we going to create new classrooms where you have chairs that are flexible and moving, And then people can sit together in groups and work on problems, right? Active learning. And the teachers are also then able to support you in the active learning methods. So syllabus is what we're teaching. Even if that is not changing or is changing, which is continuously changing, expanding forever, right? Pedagogy is how to teach, how we're teaching what we're teaching. And this is what we're talking about. Learning by doing, project-based learning, active learning, all of that. And what is formative assessment? It's the testing during regular classes. Now, this is not an exam, and these grades are not grades. So formative is when you're learning. That's when you can ask your questions. That's when you can work in groups. And if we flip the classroom, which is what I'm recommending you do sometimes, especially when there's a difficult topic, and since you're meeting fewer times these days, when you come to class, you are doing lab work. And when you're done with lab work, you can do a flipped classroom where you're actually solving problems. And your teacher is walking around helping you answer questions that you may have in the process, right? Summative is the end of the course exam that you're very familiar with. No looking here, no looking there, no looking at, stuff, no copying. Results are a function of why and how we're teaching what we're teaching. Always. Right? So what have we been really learning? What do we need to learn? So we need to learn, learn to think, and learn to live. Because all of them are important. So we need to have of a learning mindset and critical thinking skills. So let's talk about a few tactics that you can take away to develop these skills. First, we need to move away from the memorization and learning in order to apply. So we need to be able to apply whatever that we have learned, not regurgitate in the exam. So it's not what is the definition of or something like that, which is a memorization thing, right? No, we need to be able to apply. Then we need to use knowledge using and knowledge building process. We'll talk about that in a bit. And we need to be able to discuss our problems with people with different viewpoints so that you have a more holistic approach. And we have that opportunity today with so much reach. We'll also talk about and stuck. Then you need to move away and do something else, right? And you could be playing a game, or you could be singing, or you could be dancing, whatever. And when you're in that relaxed state, suddenly it'll come to you. You have probably experienced that. And that is the technique of focused and diffuse thinking, right? Iteration. Start small and build on it. And then leverage technology. So we'll go with some of these things, right? And clearly, in real world, I can guarantee you that the first item of memorization doesn't work at all, because we don't need memory, right? Not that kind of memory. You need to know what principles are there and what you should be using where, but not what is the definition of this and that, and that's the limit to which you learn. So this is how we have our traditional classroom, right? And in learning by doing, you have the lecture, and then the classroom activities, you have people are actually doing stuff. And that's when you attain the practical knowledge. Have you ever seen somebody trying to learn to swim or play a sport following some instructions? You got to practice, right?
Madam, Sanjay madam, voice is not audible, madam. Ma'am, you are not audible.
Education system even today, where there's a lot of lecture and there's course material that's being informed to the students, and it needs to go into a learning experience where the students are, looking at discussion, looking at audios and videos and sites and search engines and all of the above, and actually trying out stuff, solving problems, and that's what it is, the learner-centric approach. And we really need to go there so that we should, and the development of that mindset should come first, right? Because tell me, I forget. Teach me, I remember. Involve me, and I learn. This is what Ben Franklin said a long time ago. So there are huge amounts of resources today, open education resources. Many of these things already, NPTEL, Coursera, SYM.
Ma'am, you're not audible, ma'am.
Hello, I'm back. Travails of the online world and internet woes. Are you able to hear me now? Again?
Yes, ma'am. You're audible now.
Okay, wonderful. So where did I last lose you? What was I talking about? Someone can help me. Yeah, I'm not talking to, I'm talking to you guys, not to myself, right? What was the last thing? It doesn't matter what it was that I shared.
Ma'am, you are sharing about your Motorola experiences, how you have started, all those things you are telling, ma'am.
Okay, that was a long time ago. Okay. Did you guys not hear my teacher-centric and learner-centric stuff? Did you
Yeah.
miss this?
Yeah, ma'am, we have listened to you. Hello?
Hello. So did you not hear this learning by doing part and all? Did I lose you guys here? Have you seen this slide when I talked about the open education resources? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. All right. So let's move ahead a bit. So we talk about the flipped classroom because this is what we need to be doing. And students, I encourage you to ask your teachers to hold such, and you might be having this sometimes in what you call a tutorial class where you're trying to do problems and then your teacher is helping you. And the flip is simply that instead of having lecture in class and problem solving at home, you are having problem solving in class and you watch a video lecture at home. And you could watch your teacher's video, or you could watch a YouTube video or a Coursera video or whatever related to that class. So you have many choices and you should exercise those, right? And so this is what I was talking about. Lecture, homework, and flipped is lecture at home and classwork. You're doing the activities. So you and your teachers know this, right? Peer learning, work with them, your peers. And I was very fortunate that in my own class of engineering, we worked a lot together. And I'm very, very happy and proud that my friends then are still my friends now. And I also say that we need to have the multidisciplinary learning, because you cannot say I'm just an ECE person and I will only do this, because now all the boundaries have faded, right? I mean, take a simple phone, for instance, right? Your electrical engineers, you know, you have your batteries and your low power and all those issues, aspects from ECE, and the mechanical aspect has to work, all of this. So just being able to understand and know more things. And it's not necessary that you actually do much more than take a few courses to learn something and as and when you need it. And that's the flexibility you have. So you need to leverage that. And how do you empower yourself? So this is the process of knowledge building and empowerment. Okay, I'm going to share on that. So knowledge is something which, like example, I've been just giving you, right? Now, ownership. We talked about this, taking ownership. Adi naadi anuకొని చేస్తే అవుతుంది, right? If you think that, oh, somebody has told me something, I have to take this piece of paper and put it on the desk, and I say, I've informed them and my job is done. No, it's not. 100% completion cycle, that's ownership. And then you take that on and then you do things. When you do things and you do even a small problem, you solve it successfully, then you feel very excited. You feel, empowered. You feel more confident. And then you're ready to go through the cycle again. You want some more knowledge, and then you will take on more ownership and you will do, and your empowerment. So the cycle continues. So you can repeatedly do this. And this is what you've been doing all along. It's nothing new in the sense that from school, you've been doing this, right? You've been learning new subjects and all of that. However, What we're talking about, the doing part here, is being able to apply at the higher order thinking skills. That's the key. Not doing as in memorization. So, and the research has this, that there is a knowledge using process when you take knowledge and do things, and then the knowledge builds when you actually do things. And this is what I had come out with. This is one of my results of the PhD, is knowledge, ownership, doing, and empowerment. And this is a cycle that you keep repeating. However, when you're trying to do this initially and you're stuck, you need help. So you take the help of your mentor or your peers and then get through that. And then you go take on another problem solving. Our teachers who underwent training in our training program, when they did their online modules, every 2 hours, they would solve problems and upload. So each of that is like one cycle. Knowledge, ownership, doing, empowerment. They felt thrilled. Oh, I got this now. Now let me go do more. And let me go do more. And they kept doing more. At some point, they did not need mentoring anymore. The pink that you see is the mentoring part. After that, they became self-regulated. They knew where to go, whom to ask, what to do, where to reach out, all of that. So that's the opportunity that you have. Today, students, you may be thinking, oh, my parents are pushing me to read, my teachers are asking me to do this, and I just want to go have fun. Well, this is the time. After 2 years or when you graduate, whether or not you learned anything, nobody's going to be behind you. So take advantage of the resources that you have today and get the mentoring. You got that? That's important. And that's when you can actually be successful and have change happen. And this is another big process here. You learn some things, but not always is that going to stay the same way, because you need to unlearn and relearn things. So I'm actually, taking, how many of you relate to this? That you have to unlearn some things and relearn. Can you relate to that? Yes? What's happening in the chat? Oh, are you not able to see the screen? Can you see now? Just give me an audible response.
No, ma'am.
You cannot see? Okay. How long back could you not see? Could you see the knowledge, ownership, doing part?
No, ma'am.
No? Well, you need to speak up sooner, because we went a long way. All right, let's find this now. So whenever you're bringing up an issue and it's not being acted on, take ownership, speak up right away, don't wait. And waiting is a word that's been struck off from the dictionary of enhanced EDU. We don't wait for things to happen, we make things happen. So that is something to think about. Okay. Could you see all this, or this is where I should pick up? How do you empower
Now it's
yourself?
visible, ma'am.
Pardon?
Yes, ma'am. Now it's visible.
Now it's visible? Great. So let's look at the process of knowledge building and empowerment, because this is very important. So stay there with me. So I'm giving you some knowledge, right? Telling you all these things, some tactics to use and so on, talking about focused and diffused learning. And we said take ownership. And what we talked about ownership too, right? Before. That means you take full responsibility. Then it'll happen. Not, okay, somebody told me to do something, I take this paper and I put it over there. And I've done my part, and then it's not my job anymore. You take it till it's done. 100% completion cycle, that's what we call it. And so we don't wait for anything to happen. So take ownership and then do the task. And when you do the task and it happens, then you're really excited, right? And you feel confident and empowered. And that's the best part. So once you do that, then you want some more knowledge. You go and you take on more responsibility and you take on more tasks. You take, again, ownership, you do it, and you get empowered. So the cycle continues. Knowledge, ownership, doing, empowerment. Knowledge, ownership, doing, empowerment, right? Are you with me? Is it making sense? Is it making sense, guys? I want to hear some feedback. Hello? Did this part of knowledge building and empowerment make sense to you? That this is the knowledge using process. You are given some knowledge. So let's say in your class, you're giving some lecture and then you're asking your students to do their homework. So they are using that knowledge and then they're doing their homework. Then as they do their homework by themselves, they build the knowledge and they get confident and they get empowered. And that is the knowledge building process. So they are ready to take on some more knowledge, then use that knowledge to do some more tasks. And those that are taking ownership are doing it. Those that are not taking ownership, they are doing their homework in other ways. We know what they are. Then only but when you're doing it, that's when you are building knowledge, more knowledge. And this cycle is very powerful because once you start getting the excitement of doing things successfully, you want more and more responsibility. You are ready to take on more things. And that's the beauty of this process. So knowledge, ownership, and then you're doing with all your different skills, and then you're getting empowered. The interesting thing is that, let's say you're a student, you've been given some knowledge, you try to take ownership, you're trying to do it, but you're stuck. You don't know what to do. Then your teacher is there to help you, your peers are there to help you. Take the help. That's the formative learning. Then complete the task. That way you will complete the cycle. Then you get empowered. Then you're ready to take on the next cycle. So you take on more knowledge, more ownership, more doing, empowerment. But all this pink portion here is when you're taking support and you're getting mentored. That's the beauty of the students who are now in college, because you have so many people there to mentor you. So take advantage of this opportunity. Don't complain that, oh, my teacher's behind me asked me to do this, my parents are behind me asked me to do that. Because guess what? After you graduate, nobody will be behind you to do anything. And then you'll think, oh my God, I somehow made it through. I got my degree, but I didn't learn all of this stuff. It's possible. That's what has been happening, right? So you don't want to let that happen to you. because there's no guarantees what's going to happen to you in that situation in this rapidly changing world. You need to build your own muscle. The guarantees are there only for those that are able to learn and make it in this world, right? So take advantage of the mentoring, take advantage of the support, and then once you are doing this for many cycles, then you don't need at some point the mentoring anymore. Then you're self-regulated, you are in the white portion, and you continue on in that. Did that make sense? Did you all get this? Do you have any questions related to this part? The CODE model for knowledge building and empowerment with and without mentoring? Yes, ma'am, means you have questions?
Mentoring nowadays is compulsory, ma'am. This is Dr. Nopal Srinivasarao.
Yes.
Without mentoring, the student cannot reach the teacher, not only, but also to implement whatever teacher is transmitting in the classroom, or tasks to be given to meet the industry demand after completion of the UG engineering course. They are idle, majority of the people. So mentoring is to be incorporated in the curriculum also. In recent meet, OU BOS meet, we made a request to incorporate the mentoring system effectively, so that it is for a class of 60 students, there will be more number of mentors. What I mean to say is not just divided by 3 like that. It should be suppose 12 by 60, that is 1:5. That is for every 5 students, there will be 1 professor to be mentored rigorously. So recently when we mentoring a particular student, so their parents involved and they quarreled. So under such circumstances, mentoring also affecting severely. So parents should cooperate thoroughly. That is the first point I want to submit. And whenever we are organizing the student related research component type of workshops, they don't want to stay back. 10 to 12:30 over. In the evening laboratory session or practical model, whatever you have been projected with lot of expertise and experience, they don't want. They want only what that biryani tasted. Over. My job is over. It is not the way to meet the demand as present day scenario, and industry oriented. Everybody is shouting. Your people got 98% gold medal, but unable to write C++ program. Given a task on the before interview. Then what we thought with BOS is value added courses, what industry is expecting at the end of final year. So we went to parents and students. Finally, we came to know that latest trends in technology, whether the student knows in first year or not. Fundamental concept MPC, if he or she knows, C++ she knows. Recently we organized 1 course Python programming. Our second year students won 94%, and they are appreciated a lot. So that is ignition came into picture. Like that we are promoting to mold them right from 10th class onwards. So the high school headmasters and administrators not allowing us to educate them in modern technology. So these all are issues we are facing. In spite of putting lot of workshops and meets like this, parents and the participants receiving as the outcome is less than 20%.
So, well, I fully am with you, and I empathize with the issue because it's a real issue, and that's pretty much what I've dedicated my life in the last 13, 14 years, 100% to, is trying to improve that whole quality of teaching, learning, and also empowering not just the students and teachers, but also the management and all the stakeholders to take the right attitude so that we're working in alignment towards the goal. The goal
Exactly.
being we have the students who are learning with the right mindset and they learn how to learn. They are able to survive in the world and make it in the world, not just survive, but make it in a very successful way. And all that can happen. And that was one of the reasons why I was asking, what is it that the teachers are doing? Because if the teachers are going into the classroom and saying, why I'm teaching what I'm teaching,
Yes.
and make that clear to the students. Where is the application of this? And similarly, a student will look at it and say, why am I learning what I'm learning? Why is that important? Because cognitive science has it that we have a special memory for stories. We make connections and we remember those, right? We remember our grandmother's stories, but we don't remember what happened 2 years ago when we taught somebody, that subject. That's forgotten. And that's the way it works. So use concept maps, use all of these active learning methods. And that's what I'm encouraging and have been asking the teachers to be empowering themselves to do things, management to empower themselves to set up the future classrooms, not with the fixed furniture, but with the flexible furniture. They move around the chairs, sit and work together, and then they disband and they can turn around. It's cheaper and it also works better. And that's what we should be looking at. And yes, Vishnu, you want to say something?
Excuse me, ma'am. Can you click on stop presenting, ma'am?
I'm sorry?
Stop presenting. If you click
Start presenting. Thank you.
because it's streaming, ma'am.
I'm sorry?
It is a live streaming on YouTube, ma'am. Yeah, now it's fine. It's fine. Screen is fine.
Okay. So I hope all of you are clear on this part, the model for knowledge building and empowerment with and without mentoring. And the mentoring need not be a teacher. It could be your peer. It could be your friend who is working with you. And then you're working together and somehow are able to get through and do that exercise. That's enough. And if you are doing that on your own, that more power to you. So that's what's needed. And we need to be able to adapt to new technologies because technology is racing ahead and education is lagging behind. It's somehow trying to make it. Do you feel you can change? What do you think you have in your control? Can you do things in a different way? Because the syllabus is the same. What they're supposed to be teaching is the same. How they're teaching is the same or maybe different. Maybe they're using the same lecture mode or they're using flipped classroom. Maybe they're using learning by doing. Maybe they're using the same mode of giving homework to you to do at home. Whichever way it is, what is in your control is you can learn. As a student, you have your choice. You may decide, like I said, today I'm going to learn from edX. I'm learning from this MIT professor. What has he got to say? Or I will look at what, some other situation in what's happening in Stanford and so on. So you have that and use that. It's just, and is the change necessary? I think it's a moot point. We all agree. And as already has been discussed, the change is necessary. The question is, are we ready for change? And students, calling out loud and clear, the world is changing. And for you to have the muscle to work through this, you need to have that learning mindset. You need to be able to take ownership for your own life and start doing what you need to do to be successful, right? There's tectonic shifts in technologies. The world today is Facebook, LinkedIn, blogs, academia, ResearchGate, Gmail, Talk, Twitter, and sometimes your teachers are not in with it. It's okay. Doesn't matter. As long as you're able to get what you need from them and the support that you need, that's what's important. So make sure you use the resources. Again, technology has totally transformed the world. I mean, I literally knew we had radios with vacuum tubes, and now, the systems on chip, hardware going from ENIACs to the smartphones. The ENIAC was this big computer, needed to be kept in a big building and big air conditioning and whatnot. I mean, I have actually seen that happen, and you guys are all in this domain. Their apps are on the cloud, their smartphone, internet, and all of that. So you have all the flexibility, you have the access. I mean, what does it take to become an entrepreneur? You have an idea, you have a laptop, you have internet. Hey, you're in business. You can try it out. You don't have to wait for anything. You don't have to wait for a garage to set it up or whatever. You don't need funding. So the world has become different. So it also has brought in lots of new possibilities and opportunities for you. The question is, are you ready to take them on? And if you are, you can be successful. And it's only dependent on you. And for you who is taking it on and who is jumping in and doing the things, then you can make successful. And I want to add that you may be familiar with IQ, the intelligence quotient, but there's also these other quotients, the emotional quotient, the social quotient, and the adversity quotient. I want to touch upon them briefly and say that you all know about the intelligence quotient, so I won't talk about that. Emotional quotient. This is various aspects of you that can find fruition. I mean, it could be art, it could be, like dancing, singing, or artistic communication, and math, and many different things. And so if you are in tune with what you are interested in, you may have some hobbies. Definitely play to that, because it's going to help you balance you out, because you don't want to be this tunnel vision person who's only working on this one problem, stochastic problem or whatever it might be. So you just want to be a holistic person who people can approach, and you can approach, and then you can have conversations with. And that comes to the social quotient, building your own people network, making friends for life. I mean, this is so important, especially now when you're in college. This is the best time. Make friends, and those friends will stay for life. And I am so blessed to have these friends who are with me from college, and we do things together. Even for this talk, I talked it out and took help from my friend. And I'm very happy and proud that these friends have also done very successful too. One of my friends is retired only third after Premji in Wipro, and a vice president. And another is the head of the business school in UC Davis. And at some point, happy to bring them and have them talk to you, because they offer beautiful insights into what you can do. And we all friends with families, and my husband too, as my classmate and friend, and I'm very fortunate in that. And so many others. And I already talked about your founder's son, who's also friend and classmate. We all went on a cruise. Yes, a cruise 2 years ago, just before in 2019, the pandemic. And we wore t-shirts saying 43 years of friendship, celebrating 43 years of friendship. Isn't that wonderful? Well, I wish that for all of you, because you learn together. And I mean, we have Zoom calls for our sanity weekly. We also do Gita studies, and we do many things. So friends are not just for, having fun, as you see it, but everything. Adversity quotient, what's that? When you face obstacles, don't let them get you down. How you face adversity is your adversity quotient, and that is actually the most important thing. Because people get all kinds of pressures, and you don't want students to be committing suicide because they didn't get a good grade. It's ridiculous, right? And it doesn't matter if you didn't learn, failing. That means first attempt is, gone down, but you can make more. And that's what it is. No matter what, keep moving forward. Obstacles can be opportunities. And for me, many obstacles have been opportunities. And like I told you about my mom, she's the one that looked at, getting her leg broken. And then she came back and said, okay, now I will participate in sports. And there was a separate thing for that. And so many obstacles. I mean, I can look at many things in life and say, is this going to be an obstacle or is this going to be an opportunity? So I encourage that the way forward for the students is to learn the life skills and learnability, to manage technology and time efficiently, empower yourself, inculcate resilience. So this is the adversity quotient. To inspire lifelong learning, to learn team skills, higher order thinking skills, do active learning, evaluation. This is really the key. And you need to be able to speak up, learn to negotiate, learn to work with people, leverage technology and time, leverage strengths in science. And by that, I mean, there's a Pomodoro technique, right? 25 minutes. You set the timer and you focus on a problem. Then you'll be able to avoid distractions. Then you go deeper. Try that. Okay? So there are many such tactics and tools that you can use to improve and speed up your own learning. And strengthening your core is a must. You need to be able to do your exercise. And I'm fortunate that I'm able to be, again, now a student of dance. So I'm continuing to learn my dance. And only 2 weeks ago, I started on the Sangeetam. So I'm a student for life on various things and different stages and different things, but that's me. And I encourage that you do what you need to do so that you can get your work, your learning, and life in alignment. And especially for the women out there, life can appear to be difficult, but you can always get the things in alignment. As I shared before, I'll stop here for questions.
Ma'am, that's so impressing and that's so inspiring from your side. Having multifaceted, it's like you have totally balanced on all aspects of life. It's very inspiring, ma'am. And we'll try to do it as far as possible from our side as well. Thank you. Thanks a lot and happy Women's Day.
Thank you, Sandhya. Appreciate that. Yeah. And to all of you wonderful people. Can we see some faces? And now if the video breaks and thing, it doesn't matter. So let's see some faces here. Are you going to do it? Are you going to take ownership for your life? Did you all get the knowledge ownership doing empowerment model? Did you understand that? Because that's your key. Yeah? You can take off your mute buttons too and speak.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. So what was your big takeaway? What are you going to do?
The first thing that I have learned from you is like you should be persuasive throughout your life. Perseverance is something which shouldn't diminish at with age. That's what I have learned from you.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
wonderful, ma'am. And you can achieve anything to the best once you start doing that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No question.
That's my takeaway in one word.
Awesome.
Awesome. One should be role model for others. And motivational skills and leadership skills one should develop and decimate that among young people so that we can achieve goal. That is my perspective.
Absolutely. And what has motivated me to keep going is looking at all the wonderful people that have totally empowered themselves. You know, the people that I have trained, the teachers, the students. I mean, they have. I can give you an example of a teacher who, before the training program in 2012, says, "I'm not motivated. I don't know how to motivate my students." And then after the program, she basically decided what she wanted to do in life. She completed a PhD. She went on to be head of the Department of Computer Science. She went on to lead the college in MBA, not just her department, but also a couple of other departments. And she also forced me, made sure I came to their college and trained 90 of their faculty in the art of teaching. So very, very empowered. So going through that cycles multiple times. So one cycle is getting to be, you have the knowledge and you have the ownership and you do it and you got your PhD. Then you take ownership, you do the MBA, you get that. So you keep taking more responsibilities and you keep cycling. And that's what it is. So if you can successfully do that, you're going to get more and more empowered. And I've seen that with students as well. Yeah. I can share examples, tons of examples like that. So that with students, once we had a college come to us to do a wiki day, the students. So we said, okay, you build your own wiki profile. So it's a live profile now. So if they do a project, they can throw it into the wiki and it becomes live. So we said, we're not going to give you a certificate just by this because you only spent a little time here. Now you go back and make department wikis for your college departments. So each of these different department people went off and helped and made that. And those departments that were not represented, they went and trained the students there so that they could build the department wikis. And they built all of this and came back in 1 week, showed us everything. So till then, they may not have known all of the teachers and their backgrounds and everything, but they found out all of that multi-quick and put them all in the wiki. And they had a department wiki. So this is how much the students can roll themselves into action. We totally underestimate their ability to do. And students, you yourself, you cannot discover your power unless you go and try and do it. So I was amazed. And they all really cherish their certificates because they now, having gone through multiple cycles, not only doing it themselves, but training other people and doing department wiki. So they went multiple cycles. So now the wiki stayed with them. So they were not going to forget it in a hurry. So they were masterclass students. So once they reach mastery in something, it stays. Then they move on to something else and gain mastery. So that's how it should be. Not, oh, I only need 50% marks, so I'll just sort of learn part of the subject and somehow make it through. It's not going to happen. So, hope that helps. Any other questions from the students? Any students left? I'll be happy to hear a question from one of the students, or even a comment, and whether you got some of this and what you're going to do with this or whatever.
Ma'am,
So,
I'm
remember,
Sami.
who is
I'm
this?
Sami I'm Samiuddin from second year. Ma'am, as a student, earlier I just have a doubt, or you can say, ma'am, I need the mentorship also. Ma'am, earlier we think that I want to do this, we have to do that, and we can do this. But later on, when we try for it, we feel sense that, oh, this is not made for me. How do you think that what we should do like that situation? Because earlier we think we can do, but later on when we try, it seems like, oh, this thing is not made for me. I should try the another way. I should
No.
go for another way.
So when you try it and you don't succeed, yes, you should try another way for sure. And you can also get help and see, am I following the right path, right process? Because informative learning, you can feel free to ask questions, and that's what you should do. In the exam time, you don't want to ask questions because that's when you're supposed to know in the final exam time. But all throughout the semester, you can ask questions, and that's your prerogative and that's your privilege. You should ask questions. That's what I've been talking about, the speaking up part. That's how you learn to learn. That's how you use knowledge and do things. So if you're stuck, definitely get help. No question. And sometimes it may be that you may have taken on a very big problem. Try to take a smaller problem and try to get success with that first. And once you get success with that, then you feel good that, okay, let me try another small problem. And then you do a few small problems, then you're ready to take on a bigger problem. And that's how it can also work. Yeah?
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome, Samyuddin. All the best. Thank you for your question.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for enlightening lecture and motivating us.
Thank you, Venkat Raghavi. What questions do you have, or what takeaways do you have?
No, ma'am, I don't have any question.
Really?
Everything is clear.
Clear as mud?
Yes, ma'am.
Clear as mud?
Clear as water.
I request everyone to switch on your cameras for a screenshot.
I request everyone to switch on their mics and say, yay, we're done.
Ma'am, can you stop presenting your screen, ma'am? Then all will appear on the screen.
Oh, I see. Sorry about that. Okay, sure. Okay. Very good.
Is it okay?
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, I can see Samyuddin now. That's good. Okay. Kalpana, Kirti, Naini, Sai, Stravani. Can't see Sureka. She's not turned on. So Srinivas Nukalagaru. Nice. Venkat Raghavi, Sureka. Okay, while we wait for everybody to turn on the things, we do this. This is called function call RIS. I created something called function call yoga because I realized that people were not interested in doing full 60 minutes yoga. So I said at least do this at break time, function call RIS, because it's very, very important. And when you're doing this, do it with me. What are you waiting for, Venkat Raghavi? Put your hands out. Stretch them out, full. Yeah, that's the way. Yep. Aruna's doing it right. She's standing up and doing it. That's the way to do it. Oh, I'm also tired of sitting. There you go. Right? This is very, very important. When you're doing this, if there's any pain anywhere, time to take care, right? All right. How about this? Shoulders. Function called shoulders. Shoulder forward, shoulder back. Function called neck. We sat for too long, so immediately we had to do stretching. Generally, I don't like to do a full circle because that can make you dizzy. So do half. Function call stretch, function call stretch. Function call fingers. See? Now you're done. Something to strengthen your core.
Ma'am, can I ask something more?
Pardon?
Can I ask something else, something more, ma'am?
I'm sorry?
Ma'am, I have another question. Can I ask?
Sure. I'm just waiting for questions. So far, nobody asked questions. I'm feeling sad that, somebody's asking a question. I'm excited. Go ahead.
Ma'am, usually, means I have a real life example, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, there means one of my friend, he wanted to go to abroad to study higher studies.
Okay.
But he said that, oh, some people get fail in their life after going there. They waste their years. So should we try or not? He asked me as an opinion, but I was unable to answer. How will you justify that? Should a person take the risk, that much risk, that they are wasting the life in years, like doing some study which is not having a scope, or which is not having some much bigger picture in the future, but still people try for it.
So, one thing I must say is that today the world has become a much smaller place. The disruption has happened so that now we don't have to go somewhere else to get the foreign degree. The colleges are coming here to give you those degrees and also the certifications. In fact, I was hearing the other day that Google has this thing about 8-9 months of work that they have you go through and get certified, and you don't even need a degree. So why would someone who is not even sure whether that's of value or not go to do something now? They can always do it when they're comfortable, and they can do it as a vacation. That's perfectly okay. But if you're not sure, there are many options right here in India. And India is the one that's really growing. I mean, we've got all of the large companies here. It's not like 30 years ago when I started my company, right? There was nobody. In fact, we didn't even have a lift in the Maitrivanam building. But then I used to run up and down the stairs for up to 4th floor where I had but that was good. That obstacle made me get fit. So that was my opportunity. So how do you look at obstacles as opportunities? This is one way, right? So my answer is, don't do anything you're not sure of and you're not clear about.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Others? Teachers? Are you guys following all these active learning methods in teaching? I know that...
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Who said yes?
This is Dr. Nokala Srinivasan.
I want to hear the real teachers speak.
This whatever Samiuddin told is a query. It was happened in my house itself last year. My my son who applied for Germany and drops out in the 11th hour based on the feedback obtained from their own seniors, contemporaries, and then dropped his mindset, and he has joined in Australian coaching center here for virtual reality. Instead of 22 lakhs, I begged the bank by paying an interest rate 12%. By God's grace, his own friends came overnight privately and met me through WhatsApp, and don't send your son to Germany for pursuing higher studies. We burnt our legs and hands already. No jobs in Germany without skill achieved well in advance here. Then only we have to go there. So the same message they themselves met in hotel, and well in advance they communicated to me. I applauded them and appreciated them. You yourself convince him. I will arrange a party. Then 2 years back, I arranged a party in the hotel. Finally, my son was in Bangalore now, proudly saying for 5 lakhs worth job he is doing. Though it is very small job, he himself now stood on his legs. So when once we do not have any confidence on us, we will win the race. Without knowing that, without knowing the complete picture of outside the country, so many avenues are available in India now. Writing GATE and you will get some stipend, 27,000 rupees for pursuing MTech. After finishing MTech, you will get job. No need of going MS. But in spite of doing all these things, my submission to students, whether to go abroad or not, that you have to decide with 120% confidence. Yes, I can fulfill the norms of USA university. It is not just like Indian university. When one of the Ramlata Madam President, Bodrat Engineering College for Women, her niece came to me 10 years back. Shall I go to South Florida or not? You go ahead. Now she is a professor there. When I went during 2016 conference, she met me at airport and she applauded like anything. You are my teacher. On that day you told braveness and fight for getting success. Now I am a teacher here. Teacher teaches teacher. That is the outcome we are expecting. So these all are my inputs to his question to supplement your inputs, madam. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
So any questions? Any last questions from the YouTube guys?
Madam, meanwhile, can we post feedback link?
That's Aruna's department. Yeah, Aruna, can you post the feedback link so that people can complete the feedback section? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Great.
Sandhya, ma'am, it was a great interaction, and we really had some outcome from it. And I'm really happy of joining it. You explained it so simple, and it was so valuable. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, Sandhya. What do you teach?
I teach chemistry for the students of first year, ma'am.
Great. Wonderful. And interestingly, one of my first teachers who shifted to active learning and POGL approaches was a chemistry teacher the first year of VNR. Josna. So wishing you all the best. There are lots of different methodologies and tools that you can use. The POGL especially, it's a team-oriented approach, and we can take that offline too.
Sincere thanks to Principal Sir and HOD Sir for their constant support, and everyone for attending the event and making it successful. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Venkatragavi, and thank you all for joining
Thank
and
you, ma'am.
spending the long time. Do your little bit of function called yoga. All the best.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Please join for our Lalita Memorial Lecture, ma'am. We will invite you, and we will what we are doing there, and we are inviting eminent speakers from women group, ISRO, and not only ISRO and DRDO, but also those who have sacrificed significantly and shown some path to empower our young minds. And we are trying our level best to get back the international speakers not only, but also national speakers also we have been arranging. So within short time, the Lalita Memorial Lecture, our Padmasai ma'am, we made a request to find avenues and identify a speaker which can suit the theme of the Lalita Memorial Lecture within short time.
Great.
Thank you, ma'am, for your
Thank you.
enlightened lecture. Thank you.
Thank you, and wish you all again a wonderful day.
Thank you, ma'am, for
Thank you, ma'am.
for enlightening our minds.
Thank you.
And ma'am, you are saying,
Invitation, ma'am.
ma'am,
Yes.
Sami, you can.
ma'am, you are yes. Thank you, ma'am. Your lecture was really enlightening, and it motivated us a lot to do the things and rechange our lives. Thank you, ma'am.
Awesome, Samyuddin. I look forward to hearing from you more on how you use this to make things better. So, sandhya.kode@gmail.com. You can write me.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Wishing you all the very best.
Thank you very much.
Awesome success.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you and bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Probably people are busy filling their forms, but it'd be great to just see faces and voices again, because I'm so much of a I need to see faces person that this is, heartbreaking for me. But I still see, a few faces, so that's a good thing.
I just want to thank our principal and our beloved HOD sir, and for YouTube streaming who helped me a lot, like Abhishek sir from EC department and Vishnu sir from SNH department. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for helping.
Thank you, Aruna, for
Thank you, ma'am.
coordinating this right from the beginning, and trying to find the schedule slot and working with me. Appreciate all of that hard work. Great.
It is in a group, then only it is going to be possible to organize the event, ma'am. So
Absolutely. That's what we talked about, right? Teaming for excellence.
yes, ma'am.
It is the networking of people.
Yep.
Networking.
The social quotient.
Yes. Thank you, one and all. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Aruna and Kirti madam. Thank you, Sandhya madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karuna Reddy. Again, appreciate the Matrasri College for this opportunity to speak to its students, and glad that the ECE department was coordinating it also, because I was originally an ECE student, though I had worn many hats, and like we said, multidisciplinary. Thank you.